Okay, so again, yesterday we did examples like this. Our goal was to get the root x by itself, so we need to get rid of this negative 3. That is an addition or subtraction, so that's what we get rid of first. So what is the inverse of subtracting 3? How do I get rid of a negative 3? Add 3 to both sides. So those cancel, and we get the root x equals, what's negative 1 plus 3? 2. Thank you. And then our step 2 was to undo the square root. So how do we get rid of the square root? We square both sides. So then our square root cancels out the squared. We end up with x is equal to 2 squared, which is what? 4. So now that I have my solution, I have to go back and check it. So remember to check, we plug it into the original. My original equation is root x, but x we found it to be 4. So we plug in 4 minus 3. And we're checking to see if that equals negative 1. And as a reminder, we do not do anything to the negative 1. You leave it alone. We simplify the left side and see if it equals the right side. So what is the square root of 4? 2 minus 3 would give us negative 1. And did that equal negative 1? Yes. Therefore, this one is valid. And our solution is x equals 4. Okay? All right. So we only have like 4 more examples. So we have enough for you to do this on the back side of your notes now. And you can do just one example per box now. We got the root of x plus 4 equals 1. And this one's a practice problem, so you guys can do this one. So here's the solution. You guys were supposed to subtract 4. That gives you a negative 3. So then when you square both sides, the negative 3, remember this means negative 3 times negative 3. So that's going to become a positive 9. And if we plug in 9, square root of 9 is 3. 3 plus 4 gives us 7. 7 does not equal 1. That means x equals 9 is extraneous, which means then we have no solution. Okay. How'd you guys do? Good? Thumbs up? Okay. I was walking around though, and I did see quite a few of you guys had that no solution on your notes, so that's good. All right. Let's go ahead and have you guys try this one now. So you can do this just on the next example, like the next box. You don't have to do 2 in 1 anymore. You can just do it on the next one. We have 3 root x minus 6 equals 1. So remember we're doing PEMDAS in reverse. So we have, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, in reverse. So first get rid of addition or subtraction. So which one do you have to get rid of first? The negative 6. And then you get rid of multiplying and dividing. So what should you get rid of after the 6? The 3. So we're going to add 6. And then that's 3 times root x. So after you add 6, you divide by 3. And that's going to give you a fraction. So the ones with the fraction, you can look back at like the last example we did together. This one was our fraction example. And then you can see what we did with fractions yesterday. So this one, 4 root x equals 9, was our fraction example. All right, so here's the solution. I didn't go walk around, so I don't know if you guys were able to do it okay. We add 6, that gives us 7. Then we divide by 3 to both sides. We get our 7/3, and we square both sides. The square root cancels out the squared. And then here you distribute the squared to the fraction. So 7 squared is 49, and 3 squared is 9. Then you have to go plug it in and check it. So 3 times x was 49 over 9. Then you distribute the square root to the fraction. And then the square root of 49 is 7, square root of 9 is 3. Our 3's cancel, so we're left with 7 minus 6, which is 1. And then check, did it equal the right side? It does, so therefore it's valid. All right, let's have you guys copy this example now. We got square root of x over 3 minus 4 equals 1. Square root of x over 3 minus 4 equals 1. All right, so again, if we are doing our PEMDAS in reverse, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally in reverse. First, we get rid of addition or subtraction. So what do we get rid of first? The 4. That's a minus 4, so to get rid of it, we add 4 to each side. Those cancel. We get root x over 3 equals 1 plus 4 gives us 5. Okay. Then what operation is this when it's a fraction? That's a division. So we have to then get rid of this division. That's the second thing we do. So what's the inverse of dividing by 3? Multiplying by 3. Multiply both sides by 3. Because remember, whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other side. And then the 3's will cancel. We're left with the square root of x equals 5 times 3, which is 15. And then we have to get rid of the square root. So how do we get rid of the square root? Square both sides. So square root cancels out the squared. We're left with x equals 15 times 15, which would be 225. Okay. Then we have to go check it. So go plug it in to check it. So check by plugging it into the original. We have the square root of x, which is 225, over 3 minus 4. And we're checking to see if that would equal 1. So we're checking if it equals 1. Remember, do not do anything to the 1. Like, don't go add 4 and then multiply by 3. You don't want to do that, okay? You want to leave it alone and then see if it'll equal it at the end. So what is the square root of 225? 15. If you don't know, you basically kind of work backwards. So 225, you squared 15 to get 225. So square root of it would be 15. So 15 over 3 minus 4. What's 15 divided by 3? 5. And 5 minus 4 gives us 1. So did it equal 1? Yes. So that means 225 is a valid solution. So my final answer is x equals 225. So the main thing when you're doing these problems is you have to do the PEMDAS in reverse. First get rid of addition and subtraction, then multiplication and division, and then you get rid of the square root, okay? So let's have you guys do the last example for today. We have the square root of x over 5 plus 9. And this one's a practice problem, so you guys can go ahead and try this one and see if you can get the solution. All right, I was walking around and it looks pretty good for the most part. So here's the solution. Just so you can see, we're supposed to add 9 to both sides. That gives us 2. And then to get rid of the 5, you multiply by 5 to both sides. That way the 5's cancel, and 2 times 5 gives you 10. You square both sides, takes the square root, cancel out the squared. That gives us 100. So then when you check it, I don't like how the answer key does it like horizontally, so I'm just gonna stack it. We plug in 100, so square root of 100 over 5 plus 9, and I'm checking to see if that equals 11. So square root of 100 is 10 over 5 plus 9. 10 divided by 5 is 2. And if I add 2 plus 9, that gives us 11, which did equal the right side. So then, therefore, x equals 100 is a valid solution. Okay? All right, so that was our last example that we were going to do together. So the rest of the period, you guys are working on the next page. That's the 8-1 assignment. I think it probably says homework on it. I don't know. But it's the 8-1. That's our next page over. You have all the answers at the bottom. So all answers at the bottom. You have 15 problems. All 15 answers are at the bottom. Okay? So you can be checking your work as you're going. If you did not get the answer at the bottom, let me know so I can come around and help you guys.